Here we have a SAT math question. Okay, let's go to the information. Cube A has a volume of 64 cubic centimeters. Cube B has an edge length that is half the edge length of cube A. Which of the following equations represents the relationship between the volume V of cube B in terms of the volume of cube A? So we have to find volume of cube B in terms of volume of cube A, that is in terms of 64. Okay, now, so let's consider the first information, that is cube A as a volume of 64 cubic centimeters. Let me write it over here. So that is the volume of cube A equals to 64 centimeter cube. Okay, let me assume A as the edge length of cube A. Okay, so when I know the edge length of a cube and if I want to get the volume, what I need to do is the edge length has to be raised to the power of 3. So now this A cube represents the volume of cube A, and this A represents the edge length of cube A. So which is equals to 64. Okay, now A cube equals to 64 is a power of 4. It can be just 4 to the third power. Now two terms are equal with the same exponent. So whenever two terms are equal with the same exponent, we can equate the bases and we get A equals to 4. So that is the edge length of cube A is 4 centimeter. Then let's say B represents the edge length of cube B. Then what is the edge length of cube B? So the second information clearly says cube B as an edge length that is half the edge length of cube A. So whatever edge length you have for cube A, so you have to consider half of it to get the edge length of cube B. So therefore the lowercase b, which represents the edge length of cube B, equals to half of this 4, that is 2 centimeter. Okay, now I have the edge length of cube B. Now let's find the volume of cube B. So to get the volume of cube B, what I need is the edge length has to be raised to the power of 3. Then 2 to the third power, which is equals to 8 centimeter cube. Okay, now I got the volume of cube B. But now this volume of cube B, 8, has to be expressed in terms of volume of cube A, that is 64. Okay, now when I go over the given options carefully, in option A, I find V is equal to square root of 64. Okay, in each option, the volume of cube B is expressed in terms of volume of cube A, that is here 64, 64, 64, 64. But we have to find the option where we get this value 8, because in all the options we have the volume for cube B. So if you have volume for cube B means it has to give the value of 8. Okay, now if we consider option A, so we have B is equal to square root of 64. What is the evaluation of this square root of 64? It's just 8. So in option A, so we get 8, which is the volume of cube B, and also this volume of cube B is expressed in terms of volume of cube A. So the correct answer choice for this question is option A. So in other options, we won't get the value 8 when I simplify the expressions over here. So only in option A, when I simplify this expression square root of 64, I'm getting 8, which is the volume of cube B, and also it is expressed in terms of volume of cube A, that is 64. So the correct answer choice for this question is option A.